All right, well, it's time to kick this thing off. I'm super excited to kick it off. It's been a long... All right, well, it's time to kick this thing off. I'm super excited to kick it off. It's been a long time this year, or it's been a long process this year. But we want to welcome you to SAINTCON in real life, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story, maybe if I follow my slides in order, but in real life is our theme this year, because we did a virtual event last year, and I think that we all enjoyed it, and it was a good filler during the height of COVID and things last year. But we felt it was super important to get back to real life and get back together, because most of what we do in the security and IT industry is through peers, camaraderie, and other things. And so we decided this would be our theme this year. I want to just mention that the SAINTCON conference is produced and brought to you by the UtahSAINT organization, which is a nonprofit that basically is just the official business arm of the SAINTCON conference. We'll have a booth downstairs. It's an organization you can join as a security professional, and we actually have a way to do that this year. So if you want details, you can stop by the booth down there, but also, for those of you, well, I'll tell you in a minute, because I've got a slide for that. But I just wanted to thank our board for the UtahSAINT organization and our conference committee and other folks for their participation in planning SAINTCON this year. Our mission, if it's not clear, as a nonprofit organization and for this conference, is to provide community and opportunity for security and IT professionals to be more effective and connected with their peers and the tools they need to be successful. And that's a summation of what we're about and why we're here. It's not a business or anything. It's absolutely a labor of love by many. So let's talk about SAINTCON planning just a little bit. We're going to tell a little bit of a story. I won't take very much of your time on it, but there's some interesting points here. This is our normal planning cycle for SAINTCON. So sometime, between October and January, the committee and everybody gets to rest, and that's it. By the time January comes around, we start this all over again. And one of the questions that we always get asked is, how do I get involved, or how can I help out with SAINTCON and other things? And it starts around January with our call for committee and things. We did that this year in January. And that's when we decided, hey, we're going to plan for an in-person conference and everything. And we have a retreat where we invite all of the committee members to get together sometime around April. And we plan we bring up all the ideas and things, and we figure out what we're going to try and pull off for this year. And then through the pursuing months, there's a lot of detail that's not in this particular slide. But by July, we do kind of a go, no go. That's when we decide whether to launch registration or not. Now, we've never not launched it, sort of. But last year, there was this COVID thing. But let me show you what July looked like for us. So if you look at that little dip right in the middle, we're seeing COVID going down, and we're thinking, we can do this in-person event. And we can do it awesome. And that's when we're like, okay, we're going to do this. And we launched it. And then this crazy Delta variant thing kind of ramped up a little bit. And so this is me for the next 3 months, thinking, oh my goodness gracious, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle COVID on top of an in-person event and be safe and everything else? And so I literally, if you ask my wife, she's around here somewhere, this is what I looked like for 3 months. So we did a lot of internal discussions and things, and we asked ourselves, how do you hold a 1,200 plus person event with COVID cases again skyrocketing and doing it safely? And so for those of you that are here, you've obviously become aware of our COVID restrictions and everything. But I just want to say thank you for being willing and able to comply with our COVID restrictions during this event. Part of the reason for this is when we were deliberating and talking about this as a committee, we all know people who have gotten seriously ill, and there are too many stories of where people died. And there's even stories and people in our own security community that we've known and loved over the years that have perished due to this. And so for us, it was important to make sure that if we're going to get our community together, that we were going to do it safely. And so that's why those restrictions are in place. We're not trying to be oppressive or make you do something that's terrible or awful that you might have a different opinion about. We respect everybody's opinions on where they're at, but we know that we need to be safe for the sake of our community. And so I applaud you for being willing to do that. I know masks are hot. In fact, I shouldn't be wearing one because I'm speaking, but I'm doing it anyway because it was on. I know they're hot and they're uncomfortable and things, but please help us out and let's keep our community safe while we're here this year. And we hope that next year it's just a non-issue. Okay, that's everybody cross your fingers and toes together, and next year we just won't even have to deal with it. But despite everything, there is still some COVID impact on our conference. And so there are some things that in the last minutes of planning and everything that are canceled and things, and I'll kind of mention those. They're not big, super crazy things, but you need to understand that despite all we've been able to do, there are some cancellations and things. So if we want to get right down to the secret of how this comes together, it's because you got this guy right here. Now that's me, a caricature, but that doesn't tell even a tenth of the story. It's because I'm surrounded by all these folks. Now, a lot of them are in silhouette because I don't have cool characters for every single one of them because our committee keeps growing year over year. But these are the folks that are responsible for putting this conference together and making it successful. And we really appreciate our conference planning committee. So our thank you to them. When you get together and you've got an event that becomes this big, logistics and everything else become exponential. And so it's a tough thing to pull together each year. So just be aware and thank them when you see them. All right, we'll move on to some of the normal things that I would normally open with, and let's talk about our sponsors this year. One of the things that we do is we allow sponsors to come in and participate at our conference. And we do that because that's how we have nice things. That really cool badge that we'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation today that's around your neck is made possible in part by our sponsors. And so these are our sponsors for the SAINTCON conference this year. They're all going to have booths in and around the conference. Would you take some time and visit their booths, see what they're or see what they're capable of helping you with, whether it's tools, services, and other things. And if things make sense, we're not trying to say, hey, go buy stuff from them and things. But if things make sense, would you look and see if some of these sponsors might be able to help you out in some of those areas? Because we appreciate them being here. They're excellent partners with us. And some of them are sponsoring, like Centricom. The internet connection that we've got here is provided by them. And some of the gear to run the network and things are provided by others. It's an amazing thing that they do to help us put this conference on each year. So we are thankful for them and their involvement. Yeah, thank you. And then the last couple of things, I just want to say the conference this year, as we went through our planning, we were ambitious this year with our planning and what we thought that we could pull off and what we were able to pull off. And so there is more to do at SAINTCON this year than ever before. Not like you needed more to distract you from everything else that you want to do. You will absolutely have the problem this year of not being able to be all of the places that you want to be because there's so much going on. And this is kind of a general overview of all of the things, or most of the things, that are going on at SAINTCON this year. I'll focus in on just a couple of things, some of our contests that we have. If you'll notice there, we've got a canceled sign over the vault. That is one of the casualties of COVID. So not to give any personal information or anything else, but the folks that are administrating the vault came down with COVID. They're fully vaccinated. It's a breakthrough kind of case thing, and they're not able to be here. And so we've replaced the vault with some other things. So there's going to be a space in our Expo Center for the vault and people running things. But just be aware that that's one of the casualties that we've had this year of COVID. And I say that casualty is probably not the right word. That's a harsh word. But it's one of the things that's not going to be quite the same this year. But the rest of the contest, the Hackers Challenge game, how many of you are here for the first time? I didn't ask that question earlier, okay? we love to see a lot of hands. Welcome to our community. We love to see new people and have people get involved. Contests are one of the funnest things that you can do here at SAINTCON. The Hackers Challenge game is notoriously fun. Okay, it teaches good skills for hacking and other things, and it really introduces you to some of these concepts that you're going to find and be able to use around the conference. I'm not going to go through all these contests, but new are some things like the password cracking, the scavenger hunt, the packet capturing contest, and other things. Go check those out. We have a ton of communities that are participating this year. Some of these are returning, some of them have been here for many years, and some of them are brand new. But we also want to highlight a couple of our local hacker or community or security community groups, like the DC 435. Can I hear them? They're in the house, right? One of the coolest new up-and-coming DEF CON group chapters. So if you're in the northern Utah area, you most certainly want to hook up with these guys and gals and get involved. The other one that we've got is the Women in Cybersecurity group that are going to have a booth downstairs. Do we have them in the house this morning? Yeah? Okay, I saw a hand. You can yell, somebody yell for them. But anyways, they're here, and we love to see women get into this field. There's something different about how a woman can look at cybersecurity things that are going on and see it differently and better than many of us men can do. And I'm being honest there. And then our DC 801 community, they've been around for a long time, but we're appreciative of their involvement. Many of them run these communities, contests, and other things for us, and so we appreciate them. Let's talk really quickly about how you get connected, and then I'm way over my time almost already. But SAINTCON comms, we always have a way for you to join the discussion, to heckle the presenters and things. This year, it's really simple to join. We use Discord, and we switched over to Discord last year during SAINTCON 2020, and it will be our communications method of choice for the foreseeable future. We're not going to switch you to Slack and then to other things. This is where we're staying for a while. We made it really easy and grew our server to the size that we can actually have custom URLs. So if you just go to that URL, you can join our Discord server and have access to all of the SAINTCON channels and information and things in there. That's a great place to hang out, not just during the conference, but that is our UtahSAINT community, and all of the other cybersecurity communities participate in that space as well. So come in, hang out, chat, lurk, whatever you feel comfortable in doing. Let's talk really briefly about some of the events that we have going on at SAINTCON this year. Some of these are probably pretty well known. For those of you that are first-timers, these are going to sound weird. Tinfoil hat talks we've got going on this year. You're just going to have to find out and hear through the grapevine where that's at. The Hack in the Box community. For those of you that haven't had an opportunity to get too involved in the Hack in the Box stuff, it's here in conference this year rather than outside, and it's actually not in this conference center. It's in the Hyatt across the street, and you're welcome to look at the schedule, see what's going on there on our website, and come hang out and just chill with like-minded folks over there. Our leadership community is upstairs and doing their thing. It's a wonderful event that they've got going on up there. And we have something new this year. It's the little gremlin down on the bottom right. We have a SAINTCON store. So if you haven't been aware of that, one of the questions we always get asked is, how do I buy that really cool hoodie or whatever? There's a way for you to do that this year. Supplies are limited, but you can go down there and check that out. There's all kinds of fun things there. And then the last one that I wanted to kind of focus on is for those of you that are family, men, women, or otherwise, that have children that would enjoy an event. We have our SAINTCON Kids event on Wednesday night. Pre-registration is required for that event, so go to the website. It's got all of the details, but if you're coming, make sure you pre-register. But this is one of the coolest and most detailed planned events that we've ever done for our SAINTCON Kids night, so we'd highly encourage you to participate, but that's totally up to you as well. So just wanted to make sure you knew it's pre-registration needs to happen there. Okay, I'm almost done. Let's talk about mini badges real quick. We went way overboard on mini badges this year. This is probably a tenth of the mini badges that are out there for you to collect. Mini badges, for those of you that are new or don't have a solid understanding, think of it like Olympic pins or merit badges that you can go around the conference and get involved with these different communities or contests or events. And you can get these little cool badges that have lights on them or different features that you can put together in our hardware hacking community, and they fit in that little extender board that plugs into your badge. And it's a cool thing to carry around and have and collect the things that you've worked on and done. So we've got more mini badges than ever before, and we got to tell you where you're going to put them. And so we're going to talk about the badge. But to do that, I would never do it enough justice. So we would like to welcome CompuKidMike up to the stage. And he's going to take you through and talk to you, just to give you the intro to the badge for a few minutes. And there's one screen after that with that other picture on it. So go ahead. I'm just going to stand over here out of the way.
Can you hear me? All right. So the badge this year, we wanted to do something different that hasn't been done before. And one of the things we always get asked is sponsors want ways to get your contact information. And we won't give it to them. So, but you can. So at registration, if you noticed, your badges were being programmed with your personal information. It's got your name, your email address, and the company that you put in your registration. So you get to choose. That's it. Those three things are programmed in your badge. You choose when or if you want to share that information. So from the menu, normally when your badge is closed, right, you got the little red circle crossed out over the little contact symbol. So if it's like that, your contact information is not being shared. If you pop open the shackle by pushing the little button on the back and pop it open, it changes to the other little icon. And then anyone with phone with NFC can scan that and get your contact info. So you can share that with vendors, share it with people you meet here, whatever you want to do, that's your info to share. So we've also got a couple games in the badge. There is, I don't even know what we call that game. Anyways, there's a couple games in there to play. There's one that's also USB text-based. So you can play with that. You can collect different items to build different things inside your badge. There's a whole separate game in there to build this big machine. And so you gather those by, there's some unlocks in the badge. If you notice, there's a combo lock entry screen, right? So there are combo locks around, or combos around the conference. People have some NFC tags that you can scan to get you things. And then you can trade those with other people, badge to badge. On the right side of your badge, there's a little tiny button. It's really tiny and hard to press. That is the back button. So if you get stuck in a screen, that goes back to the menu. Battery life is an unknown. It depends on how many mini badges you connect to your badge. Many badges will suck your batteries dry in a couple hours. Turn your badge off at night, right? Because even though the screen does turn off after a minute, it will still kill your battery overnight. Okay. And mini badge extenders connect a little bit differently this year. I've seen lots of crazy ways that people have been soldering their mini badge extensions. This is what it should look like. So the mini badge extender board can be soldered the way it looks, the way the silk screen is on the board, match that up with the connectors, and you just fold over the ribbon to plug it into the back of the badge. That's all I got.
All right, well, first of all, before he hops off the screen, this man does an amazing job every single year for us, for the last number of years, building this badge. He's gone way above and beyond. You're going to experiment and play with this badge, and you're going to find how cool he and his team have been in building this. And so give him one last round of applause for his efforts. Thank you. Did you want to talk about that? Yeah, okay.
All right. Sorry, I forgot one last thing. I know a lot of people have been curious about what's inside the badge, how it looks inside. You don't need to take yours apart. Please don't take it apart. There are fragile
It's hard
things
to put
inside.
back together.
Yeah, I have got an exploded version that will be at the hardware hacking community. You can go check it out, look at it. Don't take your badge apart.
There's not a hidden code in there that you need to find or anything else. So, but if you want to see what's in there, that's it. So, thanks again. All right. Let's talk about keynotes just for a minute. We are honored to have some distinguished keynotes with us today. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of, this is how we have nice things, okay? During the keynote session, there is absolutely no still or video photography allowed. For those of you that are familiar, we have with us today lockpicking lawyer videos that we're going to show you. Is that a little bit of a disappointment? No, I'm just teasing. No, we have the lockpicking lawyer here with us, and he's going to present. But as many of you know, that when you watch his videos on YouTube, probably all of you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, he's at like 3.5 million. We could probably get him to 4 million today, right? If you're not, please do subscribe. I'll say that for him. But you never see anything but his hands, and that's on purpose. He's an anonymous type person, and so we're asking that you don't film or video, take pictures or anything else. We are going to be taking video of the session, and we'll be doing the appropriate things that we need to make sure that it's releasable without compromising any of that process. So it'll be available for you after the conference, and so you don't need to record it or anything else. If we do see you recording, we're going to ask you to leave promptly. Okay, that's what we've agreed to do for Lockpicking Lawyer, and how we have such a cool keynote. So we'll get to Lockpicking Lawyer in a moment. This is another COVID casualty, as it were, for us. Snow also, it's related to the vault because the person who runs the vault, JC, had COVID. Well, Snow is JC's wife, and she also contracted COVID as part of this process and things as well. And so we're not going to hear from Snow today specifically, but we've got an almost equally, not quite as good, replacement, last minute, and it's going to be James Pope.